Hey, welcome back to the Legacy Premier League. I'm here with actually our previous commentator, Cyrus Corman-Gill, who's actually running Elves tonight. And I guess you already spoke about that many times on Twitter and in the previous match. Cyrus, what are you looking for in our upcoming match? We have Eric coming up against. Sorry, I'm blanking out. I'm super tired. I wasn't returning from China. No, we have Eric coming up against Phil. But first of all, we actually have. Sorry for interrupting that. I'm totally I'm totally butchering this right now. Anyway, we have a very special raffle. We are coming out of our previous raffle and we're going straight into the next one. So you guys know how every week we give away dice and we give away playmats. But this week we actually have something very special. We have our good friend James Su from Beijing or Canada, and he's giving away 2 copies of his Humans of Magic book. We are giving away the first copy now. We'll be giving away the second copy later on the stream. So if you like Magic and if you like the real great personalities who play the game, this is your chance to win it. The giveaway has started, great. And I think James has a message for us that he's going to drop here.
Hi, my name is James Su. I'm the co-founder of Cardboard.Live and the creator of the Humans of Magic project. I'm really excited today to be giving away copies of my book during the Legacy Premier League. I've been a huge fan of Legacy over the years and really a huge fan of Julian's. Julian was very instrumental in me wanting to start the podcast in the first place. So, giving away 2 copies of the book. The book contains several people who are actually participating in the LPL right now. So whoever wins the book, I hope you enjoy it. And if you want to learn more about the book and what I do, feel free to visit humansofmagic.com. That's humansofmagic.com. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, so seriously, if you like reading about Magic and not only like about the stuff inside the game, but everything that's on people's minds and why they play the game, about the life stories, and yeah, that's just like really the book for you. I know that James has put a ton of work into it, and he probably doesn't speak about all the work he's put in it as much as he should, but this really shows. Like if you watch this book, right, that's probably going to be hard. If you read this book, it's gonna give you like an impression from the people that you know as a players that you've never really had before. So definitely check it out. It's very well edited. And if you don't happen to win it right now, I guess we're gonna call the winner in a couple seconds. Anurag, if you want to draw the lucky winner. If you don't happen to win it tonight, you can definitely grab it from Amazon. Or anywhere you buy books, but I guess Amazon is the easiest preferred one. And if you end up winning tonight, send me a message on Twitch. And most importantly, include your phone number because we're going to have this shipped straight to you from Amazon. This is going to be like freshly printed. If you're lucky, it's actually still going to be warm once it arrives at your place. And the winner is okay, it's actually too far away from my screen. Al Kaisin. So thank you very much for participating. You are the proud owner of a copy of Humans of Magic. We're going to give away a second one later tonight. So shoot me a message here. Let me know where you live. Give me your name and your phone number because it's going to be shipped straight from Amazon and they apparently need some contact number. So yeah, Cyrus, sorry, gonna come back to you. How are you, man? How are you doing?
Doing good. Excited to commentate another great match of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, thanks for coming on tonight. I know people really love to hear your analysis. I certainly watched the previous game that you commentated on with Jarvis, and that was really great to watch. And having your kind of insight into what was actually going on definitely helped me out a lot there. So now we're actually going to look forward to our next match. And I think we are going to take a first look at what the playoff bracket is actually going to look like before we head straight into that. So here we have Eric Landon, the Magic Online GOAT, as people call him, because of, I think he's got the record number of trophies in the history of Legacy at least, going up against the Dean of Thraben University, Phil Gallagher. Those guys are actually battling for elimination, so whoever loses here is gonna be out of the LPL. And let's see what Twitter thinks about the upcoming match here. So yeah, very far in favor of Eric. Cyrus, is this what you would expect, or is this somewhat surprising to you?
Well, I think that people just don't know what to expect from that Dinosaur Stompy deck. But if there is one thing I know about Phil Gallagher is that you put Chalice the Void and a bunch of nonsense cards together and he can find a way. So it's going to be interesting because neither player is, is playing the deck they're known for. So I mean, I don't think any matchup or between any two players in Magic's ever going to be this skewed. So I think it's going to be a pretty close match still.
Yeah, definitely right. As Phil said, you can play a Stompy deck, and at that point, it almost doesn't matter which other creatures you add to it, whether they're like red or green or black or white. Actually, the white Stompy decks there are used to be.
There was
But yeah,
Angel Moat Stompy.
Yeah, maybe later to be seen in the league if Phil makes it out. Like Phil, definitely the wild card thus far in the league, registering a couple of interesting decks, but he's made it all the way to here, so it's definitely going to give us a good match. But first of all, let's actually take a look at Eric's list. So let's see what Eric brought tonight. So pretty straightforward, 4-color snow control deck. A couple of spicy things like the Brazen Borrower, which I guess would be a hedge against, well, Dark Depth, we've seen a lot of that. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So anything that sticks out to you?
Well, I just think it's funny that you say this deck list is straightforward because it certainly is what we've come to expect. But just in the main deck alone, there's 13 cards that have come out in the last year in this deck list. So it's kind of showcasing a lot of the new powerful cards in Legacy. I mean, the one Brazen Borrower I think is interesting as a card that kind of can answer Merit Lage while also being a beater or just answer any permanent. So this type of strategy is really strong against Death and Taxes, which are the decks that Phil likes to play normally, as well as, you know, being pretty solid against the Chalice decks with the Kolaghan's commands, the 5 forces, the Abrupt Decays. So, and also just being able to ignore, you know, Chalice the Void a little bit more than regular Delver decks or regular other blue decks.
Yeah. Traditionally, this kind of deck is usually somewhat weak against combo strategies, but I guess Eric didn't really expect Phil to register something like that. So let's see what the famed dinosaur deck is actually looking like. Let's put on some Dino Stompy. And here it is in all its glory. It's got 4 Shifting Ceratops, which is basically the namesake of the deck. And I think that's one of those cards that came out recently where they basically just put on something like 5 or 6 keywords and abilities, and we're like, okay, let's just roll with it. And yeah, a couple of other really powerful things. Like obviously we got the Stompy thing, right? We got Chalice, we got Trinisphere, we got even Chrome Mox to accelerate stuff out, some Planeswalkers. But yeah, the spice is definitely in the creatures. So which one do you want to see in action the most? It's actually one of them that you had to Google. I certainly had.
I know what all of these cards do, but I play a lot of standard and modern and pioneer and such. This is just such a wild deck list. I mean, goodness, look at I was wondering what the fetches were about, but then it's like you have the Remnant Excavator. There's two Chancellor of the Tangle, which you can then imprint on Chrome Mox. You know, the sweet spot of 2 Once Upon a Time and the 2 Garruk Relentless, a common split that we see in Legacy, which makes a lot of sense because Once Upon a Time can't find Garruk Relentless, so why would you play more than 2? And then is there Karn in this deck? There's a Karn the Great Creator package as well. Honorary Dinosaur Karn the Great Creator. So there's not a Lattice, you know, in the sideboard. Phil is just saying, who needs Mycos with Lattice? I'm going to activate Karn the Great Creator, floating 6 mana. My opponent's just to concede.
Yeah, Lattice for tryhards, right?
Yeah, even better, you have the kind of Amulet Titan sideboard cards like Wormcoil and Chameleon Colossus. Both cards I've registered for Magic the Gathering Grand Prix in the last year, found in this deck. You have, goodness, Vivian Reed. Okay, that's what I'd have to Google. There's a lot of Vivian. So
yeah, the Vivian Reed isn't that the 5 mana one that basically does a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's probably going to come in for control matchups like this one, right? So we could actually see this in action. I really like the Chameleon Colossus there. It's just like such a cute card against all these Baleful Strix decks, for example. Just attacks right past it. I actually was considering it in Elves for a while. I just felt like, hey, it's actually almost untouchable by most removal spells that aren't white. But yeah, maybe that's something for the future.
Yeah, very relevant point about Chameleon Colossus. It is a dinosaur, so you know, surprised we don't see any Cavernous Souls in here to name. You can name any creature type, and Chameleon Colossus is that creature type. So will be interesting to see.
I would guess the Shifting Ceratops is already encounterable for blue. I would think.
Oh, very good point. And there's actually not really many other dinosaurs.
Well, if you really want to get that Elvish Spirit, get out. But yeah, let's see how this is gonna play out. Who do you think is favored here?
I'm gonna have to go with the Kolaghan's Command deck. I think that card can just be so brutal against these strategies. But this deck is capable. It kind of depends on what half of the deck that he's drawing. If he's drawing like the interaction half with the chalices and trinispheres, those aren't especially good against this. But if he's just slamming turn 2 and 3, shifting Ceratops, Tarmogoyfs, actually, this is different than regular Stompy decks. I'm gonna have to give it to Phil. I think Phil's gonna win this one.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, I'm definitely in camp Dino Stompy.
Yeah, the creature suite is just so good against shocks, like things like that. You know, I'm gonna have to give it to Phil. Yeah, Questing Beast great against all the planeswalkers.
Yeah, if I could see them both at once, I would want both of them to at once. But yeah, I guess Phil has a lot of fans for all the decks that he has registered in this season thus far. So let's see if he can do it. Okay, and we have Eric on the play. We actually can't see Phil's hand very well right now, Anorak. Okay, cool. So, oh my god, he actually has the foil to the dinosaur strategy. He's got the Plague Engineer for dinosaur. No, seriously.
I think Eric has to keep this hand. Wasteland can be really effective against these type of strategies, as well as having a blue card and Erupt Decay. You're a little awkward against just the creature starts, but the Death Touch can be relevant against things like shooting Ceratops. And Phil has a turn 1 Trinisphere here. It sucks that you can't imprint Trinisphere on Chromox, because I would almost want to do that. But Ancient Tomb is actually kind of a nice pickup, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's probably gonna be a turn 1 tracker. You don't really expect. Yeah. Oh no, he's going straight for a Trinisphere.
Makes sense. I just like slamming the Trinisphere because your opponent has to counter this, or else the tracker gets to resolve, and you really want to get the right away off the tracker. And then next turn, if you're able to go tracker, play a fetch, you get to get 2 clues right away. So
yeah, it makes sense. You get to use it right away, and it also it makes it so that Eric can't really interact with it at all until the 3rd turn if he really wants to. That's a good point. Also, Tarmogoyf is probably it's not going to be the biggest Tarmogoyf in the world, but it's definitely going to help us putting on a clock along with shifting Ceratops, which I'm really looking forward to seeing that in action.
Yeah, the classic
this is not
combo.
really looking all that great for Eric right now, does it?
Yeah, that force is actually a really great draw because now you get to save your fetch line for the Tireless Tracker. And you get to just slam Tarmogoyf here and then play the tracker when you can guaranteed get a clue. Just play a tracker. I mean,
tracker, yeah.
Both are just powerful threats, and they both cost 3 mana here. So I think I would just fatal push this tracker now. You have to. I mean,
yeah,
you really don't want to let your Stompy opponent get card advantage.
Yeah, Decay is the much more valuable card. You can also take out something like Chalice that might come down later on.
Well, this is actually really interesting in that Fatal Push can answer shifting Ceratops, whereas Abrupt Decay can't. So that actually changes things where because you're kind of constrained on casting spells in your own turn, which is why I would have probably personally forced negation in the Trinisphere. But it's close. I mean, because you want to. So now we're gonna get some clues out of this. Oh, and then Ramanap Excavator is a combo with this, so it's like.
The problem for Eric as well is even if he manages to deal with all of these cards, he's trading very inefficiently on mana right now. He's basically spending his entire turn to remove a single creature, which isn't really that much of a winning strategy. And if Phil gets that card advantage going, he's definitely gonna draw 2 more cards of these clues. I don't know, what do you need on Eric's side? You need something like a Planeswalker to keep up with Phil to some degree or something. I don't know.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting decision point. I mean, I think your plan has to just be kill all other things and hope you draw better, basically, which is kind of what's trouble about getting a clue off the Shadow Tracker. It's kind of an interesting point for Phil here on which threat you play, because you're kind of incentivized to leave that fetch line in place that you can guaranteed get the clue off of it. But I also understand wanting to play shifting Ceratops here. So it's kind of an interesting trade-off. And this is one of the things I really like about this deck list is that you have all of the basics, which normally these Stompy decks like Eldrazi can be kind of weak to Wasteland, but so Eric was worried about Ceratops there, I think, and so let Phil have the clue, which is a pretty heads-up play there. You know, you're able to just kill the Tireless Tracker, but he decided, I need to have Revolt for Fatal Push in case shifting Ceratops comes down because I need to kill it this turn, basically.
Yeah, the problem is if you don't get rid of the tracker, it's just you have to assume there's maybe a land coming down next turn. That's just that's the 3rd draw that Phil will get from their clue token. So you're in a lot of trouble. And Astrolabe, not the kind of card you want to see when the opponent has a Trinisphere on the other side.
Yeah,
basically,
and this is the really
entire turn draw card.
this is really the issue of not countering the Trinispheres. Yeah, you have the Abrupt Decay against the Trinisphere. Your hand's not that weak to it already. But you're kind of losing the advantage that you have as the blue deck, where you're able to cast cantrips and double spell when you can't double spell, because your opponent's cards are just better than yours. If you're each casting one spell a turn, they're just gonna win. So
I guess this is the actually, I'm wondering whether Eric is actually considering removing the Trinisphere at this point, just to free up so much of his mana and to allow him to do a couple more things there. Might actually be maybe basically the thing that you might want to do is to get rid of the Trinisphere and then dig your way out of it by having two removal spells for hopefully two removal spells for the tracker. And
well, what you could do here is you could decay the tracker, force this, and then your opponent's not is semi unlikely to have another spell on this turn. And then you can cast multiple cantrips to find a removal spell for the tracker and just hope that gets there. I think I like this play from Eric. He's now wishing, maybe I would have forced the Trinisphere a few turns ago, but realizing a mistake, not letting it bury him, and trying to get back into this game.
The timer cost should be 4/5s. That's actually a very reasonable clock. So next turn, Phil is going to be able to deploy 2 of them.
You can decay and force because you're decaying the Trinisphere, but so it's interesting. You can't actually use the Astrolabe here because he hasn't found any basics yet. Yeah, but even these Tarmogoyfs are just going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Huh.
It's interesting the history of Tarmogoyf in this format, how it was kind of, not really. People were basically saying she wasn't good anymore. I mean, people were playing 0 to 2 copies in Delver, and now we're just seeing it as a 4-of in so many deck lists.
So yeah, it's interesting. One reason why people weren't playing that many Tarmogoyfs anymore, or not at all, was like Baleful Strix trades just so efficiently against it. But I was going to say Eric would actually need a couple of Baleful Strix to get back into this game. He actually doesn't run any. He's got 3 Snapcaster Mages, 4 Plague Engineers, and a Brazen Burrow. So from everything he has, like Red and 6 doesn't touch the stack at all. Like you mentioned, they have the basic lands and the creatures are pretty immune to it. So I'm really not sure how Eric is actually supposed to come out of this. Maybe it's even a point where I guess if you hit but that's the problem, right? If you hit enough removal spells, the clue tokens are still gonna get you probably.
Yeah, I don't think there's an Engineering Explosives in the deck, which is maybe one option. Did I think Eric named Hydra there, right? Which is a nod to Voracious Hydra, which is the Hydra that can come down and fight. So maybe wanting it to not be able to eliminate all possible creatures. Yeah, this threat suite of this Green Stompy list is just so diverse. Kind of like, the old Sylvan Plug decks that used to exist way back when that you don't see so much anymore. But you're just following up. If it's the right meta for it, you're just following up with threats that a lot of decks just can't really interact with. Yeah,
Phil is really making a really good cause for this deck. Like, this is the kind of deck that if I was to play right now after the league, which I'm not, I'm super tired, sorry, this is the kind of deck I would be looking to pick up and play now. It looks like a lot of fun. And remember, this is a game where Phil has been on the draw, which is traditionally like a very hard spot for the Stompy decks against blue decks. And Phil seems to make it work here.
Yeah, let me know whenever you play the decks so that we don't have to play against each other. So here it's kind of an interesting plot. I would just chalice on 1 here. I think that you can make the read that your opponent very likely has 1-drops in hand because they decay the Trinisphere. I think you go chalice on 1, play Tarmogoyf, and then you're just in such a good spot. And Phil really thought about that for a while and came to the same conclusion. I really like that play from his end. Better than just double spelling on the Goyfs. And Eric draws another Brainstorm. Wow.
Yeah, Eric's hand is basically dead, and he's facing down almost lethal. Like, giving the Tarmogoyfs should be 4/5, are they even 5/6?
Yep, that's what I'm saying here. And the other thing about Tarmogoyf that is relevant is that Tarmogoyf used to always be a 4/5, right? You had to play things like Tarfire, weird things like that in order to grow it to the appropriate size, Seal of Fire. But now with Ren and 6 and Oko in the format, your Tarmogoyfs are so often going to be 5/6s, which was the other big problem with Tarmogoyf before, was Gurmag Angler. So that's why you saw a lot more Grixis-colored Control and Delver decks. But now Tarmogoyf is suddenly a lot stronger because it is a 5/6, which is just massive.
Yeah, I guess this is just gotta be it. There's literally no draw that could actually get him out of this.
Yeah.
You mentioned Engineer Explosives. I think there's no Engineer Explosives at least in the main deck, right?
Yeah, I didn't see Engineer Explosives. I was thinking that if he was playing that.
Oh, if he had that, yeah, sure.
So we're going to sideboarding here and.
So it looks like Phil is taking out some Trinispheres on the draw. bringing chokes instead.
Yeah, Transfer's not
Maybe in
so
late.
great against this deck, although it's better than it used to be against control. It looks like he has a pretty solid plan of board out some extra of the mana that the Chancellor Tangles and a couple of the 3 balls, and just bring in a bunch of really powerful threats. Vivian, Chameleon Colossus, Choke. And I like that sideboarding plan. Looks like he thought about it ahead of time. Or I guess I'm almost saying maybe this was a list from the PTQ or the challenge. So whoever built this list seems like they did a good job. And then what's Eric doing on his side?
He's taking out some Astrolabes, which makes sense. It's really not lining up very well against the Trinispheres and the Chalices. Taking out Thoughtseize. Actually, I kind of like Thoughtseize in the play, but he certainly's got his reasons over there. Bringing in the Force of Vigor, which he definitely needs. The Ancient Grudge, which is super important. Also bringing in just more creature removal. I think it looks like Liliana's Triumph is coming in here. And is there anything we see that we... No, there's actually nothing else in Sideboard that you really want to bring in here. Well,
Well, it's
technically, you
really
could bring in another
interesting.
Plague Engineer, I guess.
Well,
He's
it's
not
really
bringing a
interesting
Braid.
how good normally a Braid, Ancient Guards, Force Negation are against these Chalice of the Void strategies. But that's kind of the sweet spot of this green deck, is those cards just don't line up that well against the threats. And so it's kind of like, you have to pick your poison, where it's like, if you're just slamming, if you're trying to beat their Chalices and their Trinispheres, it's like suddenly they're just playing these crazy green creatures. Personally, I would just take out the Plague Engineers, but it's hard because they have Death Touch, so it's really hard to know what to do here. I would think that you still want Force of Negation, Ancient Grudge, and Braid in your deck, because if you don't have enough answers to Chalice, I mean, there's the 3 Decays, the 2 Cold Command, the 1 Grudge, as well as 4 Forces, and the Force of Vigor, so maybe that is enough.
I guess he also got Oko to turn off some of those annoying artifacts. So let's see what Eric is going to do in the play here. Oh, so this is opening hand. This is not exactly exciting. Running into 6. He's got the Force of Will for anything broken, but yeah, like you mentioned, the Plague Engineer, it's quite embarrassing of a card, right? It's basically like a slow removal spell for something like a Tarmogoyf. Whereas Phil on the other side of the board can actually not play turn 1 choke, but is close to playing turn 1 choke if he really wants to. I'm not sure if that's where you want to do. Oh, okay, so it looks like Eric actually has 7 cards. You didn't see the Snapcaster Mage over there.
A really interesting point about this Astrolabe deck is how well it's able to play around choke because of Arkham's Astrolabe. Like, this hand has, 3 blue spells, 4 blue spells now, and we're seeing turn 1 basic swamp is the only colored land play because of the Astrolabe.
Yeah, on the other side of the boards, really not much going on. The second Chromox are basically a dead draw at this point. So it looks like we're probably going to see something like maybe an attempt to turn to choke, but given the way Eric's first turn is played out, as you mentioned, choke isn't really all that great, so you probably might even want to put the Every Spirit Guide to the Chromox or something. But yeah, it's just 2 threat like that.
So it looks like Eric's looking at a push, a Scavenging Ooze, and a Tropical Island off this Ponder, which I'd be inclined to keep. You just want lands here.
Yeah, as long as Mr. Dino Stompy is not presenting anything, you can just sit back, craft your hand. And maybe you eventually get down a Snapcaster Mage if you really need to beat down. But I think at this point you're really just sitting back, and you know that eventually Chase can take over the game.
Once Upon a Time is an interesting draw here because it's still free because Phil has not actually cast a spell yet this turn, or this game. It's turn 2, but it's still free. It's not like a ley line. It is actually still free to cast if it's your first spell of the game, no matter what turn you're on.
Yeah. Don't really get to see what he's looking at right now. You don't get to see it.
And a Tarmogoyf?
I think you just have to take something that's fat. Either Tarmogoyf, but more likely a Questing Beast because it's so good.
Yeah, I like taking Questing Beast here, I think. And then I would be inclined just to slam the choke, even though there's only...
Yeah. I would run out Chromox, imprint the Ever Spirit Guide, and you could also imprint the choke and try the Questing Beast or the Karn if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I like just casting a powerful spell on every turn of the game, though, which is, I think, really how these Stompy decks win, is that their cards are better than their opponents, and they just force their opponent to force. So I think it's close, but there's just too many answers for the Questing Beast and the Karn. So this choke's not even that good here, but it's like your opponent has the Tropical Ion in play. You figure it's going to do something. And one thing really nice, no Ancient Tomb this game, or City Traders from Phil, which normally that's a downside for the Stompy decks, but all these basic foresters lining up pretty well against this Wasteland Eric's hand.
I guess we get the Snap Custom Mage now for the Ponder. What are you actually looking to find with Ponder here? Just like you wouldn't be looking for something like Force of Will, maybe an Abrupt Decay, or maybe even a way to. Well, if you really have to, I guess you could try to wasteland yourself to turn on Fatal Push, but I'm not even sure if that's where you want to be or where you need to be.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you're looking for here either. You know this questing beast is coming down, so you do need an answer to that. But you have the Fatal Push, so maybe just looking for a fetch land or next turn able to. You can't even chump it because questing beast can't be blocked with creatures power 2 or less. So
Oh yeah, that's something.
Oko is an interesting card here. Although I really like just slamming tracker, getting your clues here.
Yeah, just go for it, right? That worked out really well in the last game.
Yep, and the questing beast has haste, so it's like you still get to attack with both next turn if you wanted to. Although you probably not.
Custom Mage can't block it, right?
Can't block the questing beast. Yeah, you cannot. Which
yeah.
We're seeing an interesting standard interaction with Oko, how that interacts with the questing beast. So we'll have to see. And then I like not playing the Crow box here. It's not worth it just to draw a card or something. But I think Phil's actually pretty far ahead here. But Kolaghan's Command's a nice one, though. You can shatter the Chrome box plus kill the Tireless Tracker.
Sign me up. That's probably what you instantly go for, right? It's kind of funny how I felt like Phil was very far behind for the early turns of the game. But up until that Kolaghan's Command, I felt like, okay, well, actually he's ahead, like drawing 2 clue tokens and getting the 2 more into his hand. But we're gonna see how good Oko is actually gonna be here. Do you run up the card? I guess do you go for the Trinity Sphere? You're not under a lot of pressure. Yeah, okay, so you do that.
Yeah, your opponent missed a land drop, but I think it's pretty close on what you're supposed to do here. Well, that's kind of thing about these Stompy decks is that the reason that they can beat these blue decks is their cards are just better. But Kolaghan's Command, Oko, those are just really powerful 3-mana cards, which is kind of the spot this Stompy deck is occupying. So
yeah, something Trinity Sphere also does, and well, Phil doesn't know that Eric doesn't have a Force of Will, but if he had it, then it would be like this awkward position where Eric could play something on his turn, or maybe hold out and try to Force of Will something on Phil's turn. Whereas now the Trinity Sphere is down, Phil knows that if Eric plays anything, then he's safe to resolve whatever he wants to play on his turn.
That's a very good point. We're speaking with known information on our side, knowing the table or knowing the hands. So I think I'd be inclined just to slam Oko here. You could Oko the Labe, but I think that I would just play Oko, make a food.
Let's get some food. Oko hungry. Oko eat. Oh, we're gonna cast a 3-mana Ponder there. Looking for a land or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe looking for a fetch land to have an answer to this questing beast. Because if you play the Oko,
Lots of
this is a really tough game to navigate from both players' sides. All right, there's the fetch line for the Fatal Push, which is nice. Land. Good draw. So now, you get in this interesting dynamic. So Eric has cast a couple cantrips and no shuffled this Ponder, and he knows about your questing beast. So you're really thinking, well, my opponent must, be looking for an answer to questing beast. And what was he looking for there? There's a fetch land, but he shuffled. So maybe you just still slam the questing beast.
He shuffled, but he played the fetch land afterwards after missing a couple land drops. So
yeah, you can't cast Fatal Push this turn. You're gonna get in for 4. Oh, sorry.
I also really like the idea of resolving Karn here and keeping it around. So the only way you get punished if you play Karn and minus it here is, I guess, if there's Ren and 6. But that's maybe not even. That's probably still in the deck, but yeah, I like Karn. I really like Karn. I can't tell you what we're gonna get with minus. I'm not even sure if we're minusing though.
I don't hate like plussing on the Trinisphere or something.
Oh yeah, that's sweet as well, huh?
He's gonna go with the minus.
Well, Wurmcoil Engine is a big one as well.
Yeah, it's not that close to casting that card though.
We can always draw Ancient Tomb or City of Traders.
Yeah, that is the hope when you play these Stompy decks is to eventually draw soul lands.
There's also how I play. I was like, you can always draw what you need. You know, you're gonna draw a card every turn. Eventually, you will draw a good card.
Just good deck building.
So Eric, he knows about the engine. I guess this is a sweet spot to run out Oko. Even the problem is, it's kind of funny how the threat of the questing beast is making things complicated for Eric, because you can run out your Oko here, and I guess you need to plus on your Labe to have an additional. But extra Labe should be able to block the questing beast. But basically jump block, I guess.
Yeah, Jarvis put up a pretty good point where you're able to Oko the cast your Fatal Push on the questing beast. You can also just make a 3/3.
Let's just get an Alk in here.
Astrolabe's dead already, so interesting interaction of Karn the Great Creator turning off the stacking of food tokens.
That's definitely something I would run into and be like, hey, what? Oh shit, and then lose a game to that. Another business buy from the top. I guess that counts as a business buy, even though we have Oko. How crazy is it that Oko plus wants to, well, not even turn off Tarmogoyf, I guess, but significantly make it worse?
Yeah, Oko's +1 is Beast Within, which is already a playable Magic the Gathering card at 3 mana, so definitely a powerful card. Tarmogoyf is a 7/8 here, though, which is pretty large, but it's actually just about to be a 3/3.
Yeah, exactly right. It's weird though, because usually you want to control the Tarmogoyf, the ooze you have in hand, but I guess you don't even need to do that. Well, 7/8 is probably the biggest Goyf we've seen in the entire league. Where's Tribal? We need a Tribal spell.
Yeah, I did have a deck once that was based around just making Tarmogoyf an 8/9. That was the point of the deck. It was like an intuition teamer control deck with 4 Tarmogoyfs, 4 Brainsons, yes, and I made a lot of 8/9. At one point, my opponent attacked my 2/3 Tarmogoyf with a 5/5 Gurmag Angler, and I intuition and made it into a 5/6 and was able to. I really got him there.
Make your own giant growth.
Yep. 3 mana giant growth, draw a card. Broken.
Battle of the Artifacts. Now we have 2 animated artifacts over there.
Yeah, Oko I think is just going to kind of take over this game from here. It's so hard to win against Oko when your plan is having creatures with text on them, because none of your creatures have text for the entire rest of the game now. So
imagine a world where you have 3 Plague Engineers out, all on Elk, and you can literally just +1 Oko to kill a card. Who needs Nicol Bolas if you got that?
Wow, this sounds like a brew going on to me. We need to get on this for. Are you giving away what you're playing in your next match?
Oh, dude, I still have no idea. Like, Jarvis has kicked me out of the LPL 2 seasons in a row, so I probably should just register Burn or something. I don't know.
We play L's. I can help you out if you want. I know that you're kind of haven't played that deck before, but I am a known.
I think I know what most of the cards do. I should be fine. But yeah, maybe I'll come back to that.
I'm trying to. So let's think about how could Phil get back in this game? I thought Phil was so ahead here. It probably has to involve Karn, but then that Kolaghan's command is going to be able to answer so many of the things that Karn would be able to do. Still no red mana, but still.
Let me actually look up Ceratops. What Shifting Ceratops has is protection from blue. Yeah, so Shifting Ceratops can't be alked, can't be blocked by Snapcaster Mage, or survives most of. Okay, well, there's Plague Engineer.
Yeah, well, there's a Plague Engineer, and it's on Elk. So this is the interaction you're talking about, where now Eric is ruling in the land of Elks. Oh my gosh, Choke. Choke only taps down 2 lands here, so.
Well, it's actually kind of nice because the Astrolabe has been turned off, so Eric is actually gonna struggle to get red mana if he ever needs it to. Well, now we have the Questing Beast. I guess if the Questing Beast can it attack here?
Well, it has to. I mean, it's gonna probably trade the Plague Engineer.
Of course. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Vigilance.
It won't even. I mean, you did. Oh, you can't. No, it can't be blocked with creature's power 2 or less. So Questing Beast just gets in there and hits the Oko. That was a nice
one way to do with the Oko.
And without this Astrolabe turned into an Elk by Eric. Eric's not able to cast his red spells here.
Okay, this game is pretty wild with regards to all of that. I mean, people give Oko a lot of shit, but I think Oko makes for more interesting games than Run 6, if you ask me.
Yeah, certainly if your idea of interesting is playing a lot of 3/3 monsters, that's something that some people like. Not me, but that's okay because some people like that.
I take that over conceding on turn 2. I just played a League with Ives before, and I've done my fair share of conceding of turn. But anyway, yeah. So we got these guys crashing in. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Questing Beast is an egg now. Everybody's an egg.
Yeah, it really makes it. I have a lot of respect for the Mythic Championship commentators this weekend. It's really hard to do commentary when it's like, oh, what are these creatures' abilities? Well, it's an elk. Garrett here can come down and fight something. So maybe Garrett comes down, fights.
And
The skills can be a 4/4, so that doesn't even work out.
You could fight the engineer.
Yeah, you could fight the engineer and then swing both at Oko, and then Oko's off the table, but dead on board, right?
Yeah, but that on backswing probably, yeah.
I mean, I think this game just has to be over, right?
I mean, we're finally going to see a Dino Stompy play on the play. So last 2 games have been Eric on the play. We're going to see what Dino Stompy's. I'm really impressed with like how much business and quote unquote fat the Dino Stompy deck actually has. We talked about this earlier, like how other stacks often suffered from drawing too many utility pieces, but not really things that put pressure on your opponent. And that also, like, for me, used to be a thing. I always used to say that Ives was favored against every Chalice deck, primarily because the Chalice decks couldn't really put on any kind of pressure. But that has changed for a couple other decks. And this deck especially, I feel like this deck is full of, mana and just bombs and lots of great top decks.
Yeah, remember the days when like Reclamation Sage or Hurkyl's Recall or whatever just killed everything that the Stompy decks would play, and then they killed you on turn 10 with like Mog Catcher or Sundering Titan or something, and then now you just play against them, and you're like, okay, I got my answer to Chalice, and then they just like kill you on turn 3, and you're like, wow, Chalice decks have really changed a lot. And this one kind of showing another angle of just lots of giant green monsters. Well, I guess
probably also one of the cheapest Chalice decks to build right now, considering like I don't know how about Questing Beast, but lots of sweet stuff that's probably more like in the mid-range of prices. So I don't know, I'm very much warming up to this deck right now, maybe even just because it plays 4 Shifting Ceratops, which is kind of really want to try.
Yeah, I heard they actually might ban Shifting Ceratops in Legacy. I was in the secret meeting of research and development, and they were talking about how Shifting Ceratops just too dominant. So you don't really have, I mean, so what do? If you're Eric, you can just swing out here, I think. And then you're kind of forced, I think. So the Scavenging Ooze, I think, can be it's a 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, 6/6. It can be a 6/6 here. So you're forced to block the Scavenging Ooze, and then I think you're just kind of dead.
Oh, okay, I'm back. Sorry, man. I didn't pay my shareware program as is tradition, and I couldn't hear you for 40 seconds.
You were missed. Basically, what happened is that I think that how many creatures in the graveyard? I guess there's only 2 creatures in the graveyard. So, but doesn't this just 5, 5, 6, 6? Yeah, doesn't this just kill Phil? This
No, this should put him to 1 right now. Oh no, that's another creature.
Unless some of them attack Garrett for some reason. So for whatever reason, wasn't Eric just dead on board there? I might be missing something, but
well, I guess the Trinisphere could block the Scavenging Ooze, and then he would survive anyway.
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't dead on board, but
so yeah, it looks like Eric is not going to cast any of his spells anytime soon here. So it's so annoying that the Questing Beast. Okay, I take every. I'm gonna say the opposite. It's annoying how it makes cool creatures into eggs. So yeah, we're probably gonna see does the Chameleon Colossus coming down still save here? You probably have to jump block the ooze at some point. You have to
jump block the ooze every turn for the rest of the game at this point. So basically, what you're hoping at this point is that your opponent never draws a red source, and that you're able to cast a Wormcoil Engine if you draw out a land. And then Wormcoil can profitably trade with Scavenging Ooze, but then you're still in this awkward spot. If your opponent ever draws a red land, you're in a pretty bad spot. But we could see a powerful turn coming here if you're able to stake a Recoil Engine and then draw a few cards off clues in the following turn. So
Yeah, and we just see the use. Well, actually, not even growing, right? It's just
making sure threshold is never reached.
Yeah. Wasteland, not very efficient here. Like you might even consider like holding the Wasteland at this point if you end up running into Brainstorm.
Yeah, I
guess
think
that's
you
what
just
Eric
don't
is
play it here.
thinking
There's
about
not
here.
really a reason to. Let's see.
Or
If you
in case you
attack
ever
here,
use your Oko to steal an opponent's tireless tracker to get the clue token.
so here you can kill the Snapcaster Mage and chump the Scavenging Ooze.
I'm actually surprised that Eric would go for this attack. It doesn't really strike me as that great. I guess it's a way to keep growing your ooze by putting the Snapcaster Mage into the graveyard.
Yeah, next turn you're able to double the Colossus, right? Even though, so this turn you can make the ooze into a 7/7. So Colossus can actually trade for Skoos here now.
Which
This
means
is kind
that
of just a weird game because there's this looming threat of a red land coming down. Well, if Phil draws a land, he's certainly going to attack probably in the Slam Worm Coil Engine, but not that land though.
So close yet not so far. Is there any way for him to gain life? Actually, he has a life gain spell in hand.
Indeed he does. All right, there's the land. So you have to just play. That was actually a pretty risky clue crack. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Now he can't double the Colossus.
Oh, now he actually has to jump block. Ooh.
Right, because there's only one more creature in the graveyard. So here Colossus is going to be a 7/7. So you could have traded with it. Not a card that you traditionally see played with is Chameleon Colossus. So also you see Eric like strategically hitting Planeswalkers to shrink future Tarmogoyfs, I believe.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah, you don't need to tap Ancient Tomb to activate Chameleon Colossus, but Eric's able to find a red source here, so it didn't matter anyways.
So yeah, he can basically go straight to the first. Go back to the burn deck that he has played in previous weeks of the Legacy Premier League. And
known burn expert Eric Landon.
Burn goats. You know how every time he plays Black Red Reanimator, that's just like a facade. That's not real. Like all those trophies, he got them playing burn.
He's really pulling the long con for the LPL. So he figures people are going to put him on Reanimator if all he does is play Reanimator all the time. And then he can bust out the long con of burn and snow control. So
are you going to be at GP Bologna as well?
I will be at GP Bologna. Yeah, are you going to be there?
Yeah, definitely. I'm staying with Eric, and I guess we're going to see him in the top 8 with burn. I was just wondering, are you going to play Fs there?
I think it is unlikely. Although I was very close to playing Death and Taxes Grand Prix Atlanta, but I'm glad I ended up not doing that. But one thing kind of interesting here is that we might see Eric run out of time in this match. I'm wondering if it's possible to restart the match and just go straight to a sideboard game, but then get like weird.
Yeah, we usually do that, especially if Eric had to wait a lot.
I think we might.
I think he wasn't a play. He wasn't a play in the first game, right? So we talked a lot about things. So he might have lost a lot of minutes that way.
Yeah, he's down to 6 minutes on his clock. Which, if we get to another long game, we might want to start it.
Yeah, so we just hear from Anorak that I guess they're going to restart the game and go straight to game 3 where Philip is going to be in a play. Do you think Phil is going to bring back the full 4 Trini Spheres, which is like obviously at its best on the play?
I think I like two or three of that card. I don't know about all, because that card is just not game over against that deck, although it is nice against Astrolabes and Ponders and stuff, but there's so many impactful 3-mana spells that you can get in these awkward spots where you're just spending your mana to cast a Trini Sphere and your opponent is also just playing high impact 3-drop. So I think I kind of like having 2, maybe 3 on the play in this matchup.
Yeah, I could definitely see 3. The only thing is like if you play 4 in your deck, and I think he does play 4. Let me pull up the list.
Yeah, he's playing 4.
Why would you be playing 4 in the main deck if you didn't want them to play? I mean, you could make an argument for where my sideboard cards are more tailored towards certain matchups, so I want the catch-all card. Which
I think Trini Sphere is just not that good in this matchup. Like Trini Sphere, you really want against like Delver. I mean, maybe not in this day and age, but obviously Storm. So I think that I like having just a couple Trini Spheres. They're just not that good against the deck that's a more powerful 3-drops. Like they're a better game 1 card too. in a blind meta where your opponent doesn't know to play, like maybe they just keep a hand that has a land and a cantrip, and you're like, okay, transfer. So
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, and we are back to sideboarding for the third game here, and it looks like okay. I guess people have to redo the sideboarding because we restarted the match. So there's where he's going with the 4 Trinity. Like I can't say it's bad, right? If you get it down the first turn, it's still gonna give you a big advantage, but it's not that great afterwards, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Transfer is certainly a Magic card that I have mixed feelings about. Actually, not really mixed, just all negative. But it at least Mishra's Workshop isn't in this format. I'll say that.
Looks like the Abrade is coming in.
Yeah, I like Abrade. I mean, it can kill Tireless Tracker. It can kill Trinisphere. I think it's just good. It's good enough. I think the thing is that normally Chalice is not that good against these 4-color control decks, but part of that is they have so many answers to it. I mean, Abrupt Decay, Kolaghan's Command, Oko, but I think I still like having Abrade in my deck.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Sometimes you can even snipe a Tarmogoyf, even though it's not very likely. I'm probably not very wannabe anyway.
Just don't, make sure not to do it if there's not an instant in the graveyard yet.
Many people have fallen to that. Okay, and here we get, oh my, is it? No, I think it's not turn 1 Shifting Ceratops. Could be turn 1 Choke.
You keep the Santa, right? I mean, you play this deck to keep this type of hand. It is kind of interesting. I don't think you need to turn 1 Choke. I don't think much changes if you just do it on turn 2, and then you're able to turn 3 Ceratops if you wait a turn.
If you're really greedy, you can also just like turn 1 do nothing, turn 2 Ceratops.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what your opponent plays. I mean, Ceratops is going to be hard for this deck to beat in a lot of situations. They kind of need a exactly Fatal Push. I get Fatal Push. Ceratops.
So we say Eric on a mile to 6. He's got to put back. Oh, he's actually. Whoa, he's putting back a Snapcaster Mage. I would have totally expected him to put back a land there.
We might be scared of Transfer here. I mean, he wants to make all 3 land drops. Although you can assume you're pretty likely to naturally draw a land. So sorry about everyone hearing screaming in the background. I don't have screaming people in my house. I just have a parrot. So that's what that is.
Oh, that's fine. As long as it's not a human that's screaming like that.
Yeah, totally not. Just definitely a parrot.
Secret serial killer Cyrus Corman-Gill.
Known. It's known. So Eric kind of gets punished for bottoming that Snapcaster Mage by drawing a land. Has Brainstorm to kind of fix everything. But without Astrolabe, this choke's gonna be kind of annoying. You can decay it next turn. Okay, so you're still gonna get to turn 3 of the Ceratops. Which is kind of it's nice to wait, you know, like you're gonna assume you could probably draw a forest on one of these draws.
Yeah, should be fine here. And Eric doesn't have any way to deal with the Ceratops right now. There's no Fatal Pushes. There could be quick work of him if he ever finds, or if he doesn't find the Fatal Push that he needs here. It's just so awkward because I'm so used to these snow decks not being weak to any kind of like aggressive features because they used to have 4 Baleful Strix, but no Baleful Strix is just so weird to me. But yeah, this is the world we're living in, where Run 6 is like, okay, dudes, Run 6.
Well, Ceratops also has Pro Blue, so it would even just be good against Baleful Strix.
Oh, see, that's the next thing.
It has so much text.
I'm so tired tonight, not gonna lie.
I'm also. Commentating takes a lot out of me. I'm getting pretty tired. Good thing I don't have to play any sort of complicated deck, just a stupid creature deck tonight. Should be easy. No thinking required.
Short notice switch to Dino Stompy. No, actually not. I want to see some elf action.
Oh yeah. You'll see a lot of elves hitting the graveyard, I'm sure.
That's part of the deck.
So are you just going to get Gormcoil Engine here and then just cast it next turn?
It's actually really powerful. I mean, yeah, you will lose it like to Kolaghan's Command, but that's not even great, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's Liquid Metal Coating too.
Like, yeah, I was going to say you could go for something cute in this position like Liquid Metal Coating, but I think I would expect Eric to have something. Like Eric didn't have Force of Will. Eric, like, you would probably have either Kolaghan's Command or Decay to deal with it.
Yeah, so I'm probably getting Liquid Metal Coating on your first Karn activation against a deck that can deal with Liquid Metal Coating or Karn with like Kolaghan's Command or something. I actually kind of like this, but because it's like there's probably not really a way that Eric could kill Karn here. So you know you're going to get to Stone Rain your opponent, and it plays really nicely with the plan of Choke, where you get to Stone Rain your opponent's non-blue lands and choke their blue lands. And for those that don't know what Liquid Metal Coating does, it basically taps a target permanent, becomes an artifact. And then Karn has the ability of activated abilities. Artifacts can't be activated. So one, the land gets turned off, but then you can Karn plus to have an artifact gain the power and toughness of its converted mana cost. Lands obviously do not have converted mana cost is 0, so more
Yeah, I guess
screaming.
it
This
makes
time
sense.
it's from children outside, so
The only other card you would get here is like Thraben, which obviously gets invalidated by Oko pretty hard. So yeah, I guess liquid metal coating, as you mentioned, for the given stone rain that you're gonna get anyway, it's probably like a decent call.
yeah, and this lets you go Ceratops plus liquid metal coating here. And the problem is, if you led on Warcoil, gotten metal coating, is that then the Karn could get destroyed. So I like this play a lot. We're probably just going to see it Kolaghan's commanded, but you might as well just do it now, right? Before you play the Ceratops. I mean, it's probably not really a card that can matter here. I think there's not a card in the deck that changes the equation, but yeah, I like just hitting the red source now and getting full information because you know you're going to make this play regardless.
I'm just so excited for the dinosaur to come down here.
Yeah, well, it certainly can't be countered. So probably going to see Kolaghan's command. Are we going to destroy the liquid metal coating and discard?
Discard or even hit the Karn, so the Karn can't minus next turn.
Yeah, but the Karn, you know, there's no lattice, so the Karn can minus to get a Worm Coil still, which is still an issue for you. But discard just isn't doing anything. There's already 6 mana in play, so I think that you have to make the shock play and then hope to draw some way to deal 2 damage to the Karn next turn. I think there's might be another Kolaghan's command probably is your best draw here, but here's the Ceratops. So although we're gonna see some cantrips completely change this hand. All right, those are some good ones, but they're just active here.
Plague Engineer is a little bit annoying, right? Because it actually stonewalls the Ceratops.
Yeah, I need to get just all the text on Ceratops because I'm gonna forget about another ability on this card.
Yeah, same for me. I just pulled it up. So there's protection from blue, it can't be countered. And for a green, you can give it your choice of reach, trample, or haste until end of turn.
Why does that card have reach? What flavor-wise would ever make sense that this card should have reach?
Well, it's a dinosaur. It just roars in the air and just basically it has like a missile and shoots down.
It's a Ceratops that jumps, like it's like a Triceratops or whatever that jumps up, and I'd like to see that.
Well, aren't dinosaurs technically birds? So maybe they should have flying.
So your theory is that Ceratops are able to fly.
Yeah, actually,
I mean, you do work with safaris, so you know more about animals than I do, and I trust your opinion here.
Yeah, I'm actually very bad at the flying animals. I'm better with the ground dwelling animals.
This is a ridiculous conversation. I love it though. So we have a Karn here. I think there's a pretty good chance I would just go Karn minus get Worm Coil here. Play State of Traders, play Worm Coil. I mean, make your opponent have a few removal spells in a row. That it doesn't line up that well against Oko, but it doesn't line up that poorly either. I mean, you get to still kill Oko regardless. So I think I like that play.
Yeah, the interesting thing is now that liquid metal coating is gone, there's actually not that much more for Karn to do in this game except for maybe turn off Astro passively.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you cash in on your Worm Coil engine, I think that's probably like the best thing that Karn is going to do for the rest of the game. The only reason not to do it would be if you didn't want to cast it this turn, but I guess you're just going to go for that.
I like just slamming Worm Coil engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those asking to have a parrot stream, I can't actually get the parrot out of its cage. It only likes my grandfather, and it will bite me if I try to touch it. So I can't get it out of his cage. But it certainly is in the background of many of my streams screaming. So that is the added benefit of owning a parrot.
Maybe you should make that your thing. Like, you know how Eric has that goat? Or actually, he doesn't have an actual goat, but maybe we can.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does have an actual goat. Maybe that's his secret to his power. Maybe he in between rounds he drinks goat milk, and that's like his power.
Okay, I don't know if this is disgusting or not, but I've actually never tried goat milk. But yeah, I think we just donate for him to get a goat called Grizzlebrand.
Yeah, I like to donate to Eric to watch him drink goat. That's his sub goal. But that's a conversation for a different time. So what do you think Eric's gonna play here? Do you think I think you should probably have to play the Plague Engineer and then block the Ceratops? Oh, that sucks though. You're taking 2, 8, going to 6, and then hope to draw Oko on the next turn, and then
it depends. How does he get rid of the I guess Oko, yeah. He's got 2 copies of Oko. But actually, he could also draw Chase at some point to basically just buy a turn by going minus on the board. I think, yeah, so the Wormcoil Engine is overall probably the somewhat slightly easier card to deal with, even though, which is like weird, right? Because Wormcoil Engine technically was always like this card that nobody could ever efficiently deal with.
Yeah, it just doesn't line that up well against Oko because it's a magic card with text on it. It's a really fun part about that card. But Shifting Ceratops has the important text of being protected from blue, so it does line up well.
I'm just wondering what Shifting Ceratops could do here.
Well, I think you give Shifting
reach.
Ceratops trample, you swing. Your opponent's going to have to take that, so they take it. Shifting Ceratops is a 5/4, so they take 3, 9, so they go to 4. And then if you play the Oko, turn the Wormcoil into an Elk, you go to 1. So you're able to survive the game. And actually, because he named Dinosaur, which is the play I think makes sense, is you could have named Worm also, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so you're actually going to you're going to say a 2, which lets you fetch this next turn if you need to find and cast Oko. So I kind of got tricked by mathematician Jarvis in chat about how it was 9 damage, even though I previously said a different number. But I trusted the math wizard. But understandable.
Yeah, Eric here on the brink of elimination, really looking to find Oko. And like when we say he needs to cast Oko, he actually needs to find Oko, right? So
yeah, he doesn't have the Oko yet.
I think it's probably his only out, right? I'm wondering.
Well, I mean, another basically blocks the Wormcoil, but then there's still 2 3/3s in play.
Yeah, that's just as good as like having your Snapcast damage block the Wormcoil. I wonder if you actually, instead of brainstorming, you want to Snapcast damage, brainstorm there next turn. Instead of pondering, if you want to Snapcast damage, brainstorm, and then get another turn. Just not sure.
Yeah, I mean, actually anything that cards, and I like that the Snapcaster Mage can Kolaghan's Command kill or Abrupt Decay one of the tokens, and then chump another turn. And you can even do things like so the following turn, if you find a 5th land, because you're going to be at 2 here, you could go play Oko, and then you're going to go to 2, obviously. Oh, interesting. Anyways, but then you would have been able to go Snap Decay the Worm token, and then turn the Snapcaster Mage into a 3. Oh, never mind, because the Wormcoil is a 6/6. So maybe that's what he's thinking when his out is. There's Tormod's Crypt to turn off Snapcaster Mage. A really heads-up play from Phil here.
I was wondering, if there's anything else he could get, but Tormod's Crypt seems to be the best option here. And now it's gonna be rough. He needs to find something like. Oh yeah, so there's another great play, right, that he can make. He can Tormod's Crypt himself, and then next turn minus Karn to actually get back the Wormcoil Engine.
Wow, he finds the Ancient Grudge here, which is going to buy him some. But yeah, very good point that you brought up is that the Karn doesn't just wish from the sideboard; it wishes from exile, which is how the wishes used to work. So if you crypt yourself, you can get that card back. I've actually never seen that come up, but it is very cool.
Yeah, it sometimes came up in decks like Bomberman, but oh my god, another Shifting Ceratops. And actually can get haste here. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly 10 damage, and there's nothing Phil can do about it. He even fetch, so he's gone on to 8, so yeah. Snapcaster Mage can't block. Yeah, that's just game. The Dinos and the Worms.
You'd love to see it. Shifting Ceratops getting in the red zone. A motley crew. It really is like we're on safari here. Is this the kind of animals that you have in your safaris? Those giant lifelink death touch worms and ceratops that fly?
Well, I haven't really tasted the lifelink yet. I haven't seen them attack me, but from what I can see, like the lions that are strong, they must have some kind of lifelink.
And that was if you restarted. That takes the match, and Eric is eliminated, and Phil is able to meme his way into the next week with some powerful green monsters.
So if you guys don't have your Shifting Ceratops now, definitely get them. I actually have 4 copies of them over there, but they are not mine. They're gonna go to Canada.
Yeah, I bought them as soon as it was spoiled. I knew that card was gonna be a legacy staple that I'd want to play in all my decks. So speaking of green monsters, I think it might be my turn to cast some of the said green monsters. I don't think I have anything as good as Shifting Ceratops in my deck, but we'll have to find out.
You have 2 Crud Behemoth. That's Beast, right? But before we move on, there's going to be another raffle. We're going to have Card Holder give away a couple of sweet things. Actually, one specific really sweet thing, and that's going to be their playmat. I think Anorak is gonna trigger the giveaway in a moment, or actually I could. Okay, so we started. So if you want to win this playmat, this is the premier playmat that we've given away for a couple of seasons now. It's really, really sweet. Lots of people got it this way, and yeah, if you want to get it, type Card Hoarder in chat. Big shout outs also to Card Hoarder, who've been supporting us for all seasons that we've run the Legacy Premier League, and they're really like the reason that this works for us. There's Card Hoarder, there's Scott Monroe, and there's Wizards of the Coast. And without them, I can only ever say it again. This would be MS Paint production. You wouldn't really have anything of that sweet pixel art. You wouldn't have that individually composed music. And yeah, so big shout outs to them. They've been a big supporter of not only like Magic Online, but specifically a lot of legacy streamers. They're supported by Card Hoarder, and they just like they got, if I may say, the best rental service. I've been using it for over a year now. And yeah,
I don't think it's really close. Card Hoarder is awesome.
Just amazing.
I mean, that's why we're the Legacy Premier League now, not the Mediocre League. You have stars like myself on here, you know, thanks to great sponsorship by Watsy, Card Hoarder, and Scott Monroe.
So yeah, if you end up winning this, send me a message, and Card Hoarder will ship this to you in no time, no matter where. I think we've sent to almost all continents. So actually, if you're from Australia, maybe you can win. So we can actually cover every place in the world. Surprisingly, a lot of people from Norway are winning. I don't know if there's something about the internet connection, but I've actually sent a lot of things to Norway this season.
They are known luckers.
Type Card Hoarder in chat. So no, Marcus, you're doing it wrong. You're Swedish, or maybe you have some Norwegian ancestors. I don't know.
Oh goodness, lots of countries up there for sure, including the country that my next opponent is from.
So we got John Hightide. John Hightide, I don't know where you're from. If you're from Norway, all the more shoutouts to you. But anyway, congratulations. Send me a message on Twitch. Let me know where you live, and we'll ship that sweet Card Hoarder playmat to you in no time.
That has to be Marcus's alt, right? John Hightide. That has to be Marcus's alt. You can't answer 2 accounts, Marcus. For those that don't know, Truckus123, a known high tide aficionado.
I would rather that's one way to phrase it. I'd rather phrase it a known hater of creatures, of anything that taps to attack.
Yes. As am I. I don't like creatures.
So that's the guy who just registered 32 creatures or something.
I have essentially never played a competitive REL Magic the Gathering event without a green creature in my deck. I just like to put that out there. I've always played at least one green creature.
Oh, you always played Scented Swarm in A&T as well?
Yeah, I always play one Scented Swarm.
I guess it's good value.
Yeah. I think one time, Grand Prix Vegas a few years ago, I didn't play it, but I was a noob. I went 2-4. That's why I went 2-4. I didn't have the buzzy friend to back me up. But I'm a known expert of green creatures, so I'm ready.
Awesome. So we'll get you ready for your match against Michael Bonde on a very hateful, also I think, Grixis control deck. Best of luck to you. Make us proud and show us some sweet elf action, Cyrus.
Yeah, I hope I win on turn 2 lots. Thanks.
Awesome.